RNEA, unraveling the mysteries of power. Can you feel the energy breaking the impossible?
Hello and welcome to the Russian Nuclear Education Ambassadors podcast series. For those who are new here, welcome back. Today we are going to discuss a very important topic: how students can survive the life abroad. I am your host Somojit Mukherjee from National Research Nuclear University MIFI, studying in my second year of PhD, and today joining me are my colleagues Theodora from Bosnia and Herzegovina and Anje from Rwanda. Before we start, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on our social media pages. We will leave the links below in the description box. Without wasting much time, let's jump right in. Studying abroad is a very exciting period for the life of a student. At any point of time when they make the decision, they are very happy to go see a new world. But this new world has its own challenges. A new world means new people, new places, new language, new food, and new culture. But all these new things can become a little bit hectic for the new life of a student. But today, with my colleagues, we will try to find you some life hacks and some solutions to all your problems that you may face while studying abroad. So let me start from my colleague Theodora. Theodora, you came to this country, Russia, in a few years ago. And as I understand, the culture difference between these countries is not so much. But still, there is a difference in language and the people and the food. So, how did you cope up in the first few days?
Thank you so much for your question. First of all, I would like to say that for sure the biggest problem every foreign student faces is the language barrier. And for me also, that was one of the biggest problems I had in the first few days. But I tried to put myself out there and to socialize on a maximum level, to go to magazines, to go to shops, to speak Russian every day. And I think that's how I improved. But the basic tip I would give to anyone planning to come or planning even to apply to Russian nuclear education programs is that you don't expect your first month to be organized and to be peaceful. You kind of have to make a decision, make a plan with yourself that the first month is going to be pretty hectic and pretty different from everything you're used to. But also, after that first month, you're going to be okay. And although it's hard, it's something you can and will get through.
Thank you so much, Theodora. Angie, then I should come to you. Angie, you come from a beautiful country, Rwanda, which unfortunately is very far from where we are today in Moscow. So, when you first came to Russia, in a place which is cold and the temperature is different, the culture is different, and perhaps even the surrounding and the people are different. What was your experience in the first few weeks?
Thank you so much, Sumoji, for the question. Yes, it's different. It's totally different. Rwanda and Russia are very different countries. As you mentioned, the climate, the food, and everything. So if I look back to my first 4 weeks in Russia, it was really hard. First of all, we came in the week that the temperature was really, really low according to what I was expecting, because the first day we had like 10 degrees Celsius, to which I've never experienced in my life at the time. So it was so hard at the time. And about the school, I had to attend my first class on the next day. As you can understand, coming from Rwanda, directly joining classes, and I wasn't even ready, wasn't even fluent in the language. So it was a situation that I could say it was a hard first month. Everything was new and everything was hard. Getting into the system, trying to get the documents, opening banks, knowing where to shop, everything was still new, and the first month was tough.
Thank you, Ange. I completely understand your situation. I believe that for most students who go to anywhere in the world, that is definitely a big issue when they first come, especially if they're coming from a very far away place and they are not used to the weather or the language. So I must move on to the next question, because I believe that when students come for studying, they always expect a lot of hard work that is required in the initial days. But as time goes on, that hard work becomes easier, because the subjects become easier to understand. Not the subjects themselves, but the mode of instruction becomes more used to for the students. So I must ask you, Dora. You, Dora, you study a very difficult subject when you are studying in your, I think, your bachelor's, when you are studying some very high level of mathematics. Coming from your country, where the mathematics education system is also very strong, were there any differences in terms of language and instruction?
I would say that having finished applied maths and physics here in National Research Nuclear University, MIFI, I can say that levels are very different. And although I did have quite a good base back in Bosnia, I think I had to get used to the Russian academia culture. This culture brings a lot of dedication and a lot of discipline with it. When I first came and applied to my first year, I've noticed that all of the Russian students don't give up that easily as I used to give up. So you are starting to solve a problem, and if it doesn't work out a few times, you usually give up. But Russian culture kind of pushes you to go through further and further each time. And that's one of the main advantages and even cultural differences, I would say, that I have noticed during my first few years here. But after some time, you kind of get used to that system and you push yourself even harder and you push yourself out of your comfort zone. This has has helped me develop and grow so much. And I think the main tip that could help anyone struggling with hard disciplines, hard educational programs is not to give up. Take your problem, take it apart in smaller ones, and solve each one of them one by one, calmly. That's what I would say to myself, even if I went back.
Thank you, dear Dora. That was some great advice. I believe that although it sounds like a very cliched advice to not give up, it's often the easiest thing to do, to give up. But not giving up is the only thing that we can do to move forward and strive ahead for success. So, Angie, talking about not giving up. So, let's assume that when you first came, you had these issues that you came with. Did you have some people around you from your country or from other countries who were there to help you? Was there some kind of community that you got who helped you to settle in your first few days in Russia?
Well, I would say that when we came, we were the first community of Rwandans in our university. There were no community to help us get through, the process of the school, get to know the school. But luckily, we had other community of Rwandans in Moscow who came to help us, of course, who came at the airport to get us and helped us to like do the to get all the documents, take us to the markets, to the shops, getting us to know everywhere, to get stuff, to get service and stuff. I would say personally, I got the help I wanted, but not from, sadly to say, not from the school, but from the community of Rwandans out of the school. Yes.
That's actually quite nice to hear that even in a country that is very far away from your home, you can still find people who you can depend on and who are always ready to help you.
Sure.
Uh, since we are talking about community, we should also talk about the scientific community, because once you are in a university and you have started studying and you are getting used to study, then you are always trying to go towards some research works or some papers that you would like to study on. So when a student who is coming from abroad is trying to get into this area of research and understanding how science works, what all the things or life hacks can somebody get? Can maybe Theodora can help us with that?
Yes, I would be glad to help with that question. I think the main thing that all the students, not only foreign students, have to overcome is being scared of communicating your needs, your questions, your problems, whatever you have. I think the main thing you have to do when you try to get into the scientific community is to not be afraid, to be direct, and to ask if you are not understanding something, especially to ask stupid questions. A lot of the people who are more experienced than me and who were my tutors and my advisors during my education in Moscow have told me that once you ask a stupid question, you understood, if you get the answer, you understood a very simple but very important thing. Once you understand simple things, it's easy to go forward and to develop your knowledge even further. So I would say don't try to look smarter and to make yourself look smarter by faking your knowledge and understanding. And honestly, ask the questions you have in your head and ask everything you are confused about. I would say that's the only way to go forward and to build your scientific career in the future.
Thank you so much, Theodora. That is actually a very brilliant answer to ask stupid questions, because obviously there are no stupid questions. The only stupid questions are the ones that are not asked.
Yeah.
And with that, I must continue to Angie. Angie, since you came from a country which is very different from Russia, what were the things that you mentally prepared before coming? Like when you were getting ready for coming to Russia and studying in a very different place, what were the things in your mind that were going on? What were expectations when you before coming to this country?
Okay, thank you so much, Jade. If I look back, I remember that before coming here, everything was, I would say, there were no information either online or everywhere. I used to go online or on YouTube and search, what should I take to Russia? How is the hostel in Mefi? How is everything? But I couldn't find a specific video to guide me. But all I knew or all what I found online was pack your winter coats, pack your food from home. If you have your favorite dish, if you can pack it, pack it. If you also are a black woman or black girl, just like me, pack your hair oil. So before coming, I would say I was prepared to meet winter. Yes, I had my coats, my heavy coats, and boots, and I had to pack my hair oils and Some food, yeah.
So I guess food was the main idea for you while you were packing your bags.
Not really, not really, but yeah, it was on the list.
Well, I believe it is true because you never know when you are coming to a
Yeah,
different country if you can find your
yeah,
local
you
food.
never know.
Teodora, did you find any local food here, or you also brought food with you when you were coming here?
Oh, I didn't bring food, but I brought dishes to cook some homemade Bosnian food here, which didn't work out because I had too much to do for my studies. But anyways, there are actually a lot of Balkan, I would say, restaurants around Moscow. But I tried to experience the new culture first, and then bring something mine to the new world that I was starting new life in. So my priority was to experience the Russian culture first. And now I enjoy both Bosnian food and Bosnian company here, and also something from Russian culture.
That's actually great to hear because since you have been living here for a quite a long time, uh, you have already assimilated to the culture that is here, and I believe that that should be the target of any student to enjoy their student life fully. They should start integrating with the local culture as much as possible. That way they can enjoy not just with the students from their own country, but they're also with students from the home country, in the host country. So since we are talking about our integrating into a culture, are there any specific activities that new students who come here for the first time can do in any country, not just Russia, to integrate into the society better? Maybe Anjay can answer first.
I would say there are a lot of stuffs to do, especially in a country like Russia, because in Russia, that's where I learned how to skate, how to ride a scooter, how to different dances, like some traditional dance. I think there are a lot of um, activities you can do with other people, especially at university or off university. Yeah, the answer is yes.
Theodora, what do you think?
I I think that basically, if you're going abroad, you're starting a new life in these new surroundings and environment. You should try to meet people with the same interests as you. As hard as it sounds, sometimes you can just go by your old interests, as I did. For example, during school, when I was studying in Bosnia, I used to do a lot of volunteering and a lot of youth work. After I came to Russia, I tried to find organizations with the same cause, with the same goal, and quite frankly, by joining Russian nuclear education ambassadors, I successfully integrated into this new family, basically, who have definitely helped me during studies, during my education in Russia. So, my main advice would be if you want to integrate into a society, just do the things you are interested in, and good people will come along.
That's actually a very thoughtful answer to go and find uh, interests that are common for you, especially things that you love to do. And obviously, we would thank you for mentioning RNEA. And as always, we are very happy to have you in the family. And we believe that you will continue our good work for a very long time. Talking
I
about
hope
the
so.
good work, uh, definitely don't worry about it. So, talking about the good work, uh, when a student is coming for the first time in a different country, they also have some expectations about how fun their life would be, how much enjoyment they will get when they come to a different place. After all, many of them are coming right after school at the time when their youth is just beginning. So in that time it is very important not to completely lose yourself and be a little bit responsible. So, has there been any instance for you, Angie, and Theodora, where you felt that although you have a full freedom of living in a different country, there are instances where you feel that you need to be a bit more responsible? Maybe we can start with Angie.
I think, yeah, the answer is yes, because first of all, the university system is not like high school system. That the system that we found here, uh, we were supposed to put more effort, put more time to it, think more, think widely, and always be in school, unlike how it was in high school. So, all the time you had to schedule your day or your week or your month, and then at some point you have to be mature. There's no parent, there's no matron, there's no patron. You are on your own in a different country, and you have to do your finances, you have to do the cookings, you have to do the homeworks, you have to submit, you have a lot of stuff on your head, you alone. So all it cost was you to sit down, be responsible, plan your day, and at the end of the day everything worked. And yeah, here we are in the third year.
Theodora, what do you think about responsibility? Not just about freedom while coming to a different country, about enjoying, but also some responsibility that comes to the life of a new student.
Although I completely agree with Angie, I would say that being responsible doesn't mean you have to be too restrictive and to put a lot of pressure on yourself. For me, the main thing that helped me was surrounding myself with responsible people, since we all come to this experience very young, very fragile, very wanting to experience the world around us. I would say that if you surround yourself with right people, you can have fun with them and you will definitely have a lot of fun. But also, you are not going to lose the track of where you came from, what you came for, and where are you going in the future.
Thank you, Theodora. Thank you, Angie, because I believe that these two answers are actually very important for every new student. Uh, Learning that responsibility when they first come to a different country. And I would like to point out the fact what Theodora said about choosing the right people. There's actually a very good quote in our local languages, and it's there in Russian, it's also there in Indian languages, that if you show me a person's friend, I can tell you about his nature. And that is actually very true, that when you can see the person and who is surrounded by, you can tell how a lot of things about that person. So it is very important that when you first come to a different country, choose the right people to surround yourself with, and choose the right partnerships and right friendships. And if you get the right people around you, you never know, maybe they are not just friends with you for a very short period of time during your studies, but maybe they stay with you for a lifetime. Speaking of lifetime, I would just like to ask you all a very quick but very important question for our podcast, and that would be that if you had to give any top three advices, quick and small, short advices to our listeners who want to come and study abroad, what would they be? Let's start with Theodora.
First of all, I would like to repeat my thought about not being too hard on yourself. You have to forgive yourself the small mistakes on the way. The second one is to make a routine. To have a small routine is something you can come back to every day, every week, every month. And the third one is don't be afraid to go out of your comfort zone. Go out, socialize, try to have a good time because this is one of the most unique experiences you're gonna have in your whole life, I'm sure.
Thank you so much, Theodora. What about you, Angie?
I would say the best advice I could give someone who wants to come and study here, especially in Russia, the first advice is go for it because it is possible and you can make it. And the second one is that don't be hard on yourself, as Theodora said. Don't be hard on yourself. Things can be hard, and truly things are hard. But if you have a good, I would say, if you have a good discipline, you can make it. So the first step is to apply, come and study, and go back with a diploma. And another thing, the last one, always celebrate your success. No matter what, whether you submitted, whether you made a dish or anything, here everything, any success matter because it pushes you to want to see another day, because sometimes things can go wrong in your life and you feel like, no, this is the end. But if you keep celebrating little success, it will build your life and make it so interesting. And the last one, you asked 3, but I have the 4th one. Always
Absolutely,
take
go ahead.
always take opportunities, no matter what. If you feel like I can do this, go for it, take that opportunity. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Angie. Thank you so much. All of these advices, I believe, would be very helpful for our listeners who want to come and study abroad. Coming to a different country to study or to even live is a difficult choice to make. On one hand, you are coming to enjoy your life, to discover a new place, to come and find and explore a new culture. But on the other hand, you are leaving behind your family, your friends with whom you have spent a very long time and a very big part of your life. So, as people come to these countries uh, and feel the moments where they are not able to go ahead, I would suggest remember the advice of Angie. Celebrate your small successes, and as Theodora said, don't be too harsh on yourself, don't put so many regulations, and I am sure that you will all enjoy your life outside your country. Thank you so much, Theodora, and thank you so much, Angie, for joining us today. That's it from our side. Thank you for tuning in into our podcast, and I hope that you all learned something. Don't forget to like this video and share it with your friends. Once again, subscribe to our channel and follow our socials through the links in the description box below. See you next time. Thank you.
Unraveling the mysteries of power. Can you feel the energy breaking the impossible?